Tonight on NewsWatch, remembering Margaret Thatcher. We look back on the life of the former British Prime Minister.
Plus, why Israelis pause today to remember the victims of the Holocaust.
And the hidden health dangers behind popular energy drinks. All this and more tonight on NewsWatch. She was called the greatest peacetime British Prime Minister in modern times. Good evening. I'm Mark Martin.
And I'm Wendy Griffith. Margaret Thatcher was not just a political titan, but a cultural icon. She died today from a stroke at the age of 87.
Dale Hurd has tonight's top story.
It was said that Margaret Thatcher returned the great to Great Britain. She burst onto the political scene at the age of 34, the youngest woman ever elected to Parliament. In 1979, Thatcher swept the Conservative Party into power and became the first woman Prime Minister. Her political and economic philosophies were steadfast anti-communism, self-reliance, and free markets, unfashionable ideas at the time.
I presume this is to enable us to sweep Britain clean of socialism.
Thatcher found a kindred spirit in President Ronald Reagan and had a famous moment during the first Gulf War when she instructed a vacillating President George Bush that it was no time to go wobbly. She gained a nickname which she wore with pride.
The Iron Lady of the Western world.
She led Britain to victory when Argentina invaded the Falkland Islands. But in 1990, she was ousted in a bitter political fight within the Conservative Party. Still, Thatcher's legacy remains intact in the United Kingdom and around the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're leaving Downing Street for the last time after 11 and a half wonderful years, and we're very happy that we leave the United Kingdom in a very, very much better state than when we came here 11 and a half years ago.
Dale Hurd, CBN News.
For more on this, we turn now to Dr. Charles Dunn. He is a distinguished professor of government at Regent University and the author of many books, including one out this week called American Exceptionalism. Now, Dr. Dunn, when people think about Margaret Thatcher, they very often think of Ronald Reagan. You have a unique insight into their relationship. Tell us about that.
Yes, the two of them are like finely woven tapestry. That tapestry came together with common convictions regarding both their ideology and their theology, their charisma, both very charismatic figures. So if you look at the commonalities that they had, we can see why there was this finely woven tapestry. And they were like a tandem, the likes of which we've not seen since and are not likely to see, but which we desperately need. Because with, for example, their convictions and their charisma, they articulated to the people on the other side of the ocean and on this side of the ocean a common bond regarding international politics and the need to bring down communism.
Let's talk about how the relationship between Ronald Reagan and Margaret Thatcher affects us today.
It affects us because, for example, the fall of communism. But we have not moved the way that we should in order to take advantage of what Thatcher and Reagan did in bringing about the fall of communism. We're seeing a regression in the old Soviet Union, what is now, of course, Russia. And we don't have that same spirit and vitality in America that we had to build and rebuild relationships.
What do you think that Margaret Thatcher's legacy will be?
Legacy number one, as the Iron Lady. She brought leadership to the United Kingdom when it desperately needed it. They had a problem with regard to socialist ideology. She was able to restore a good measure of capitalist free market economics, and the people in the UK are still benefiting from that. And then her legacy on the international stage, along with Ronald Reagan. And of course, we have to bear in mind that Ronald Reagan restored a lot of capitalist thought as well.
Sure.
That's why I say they were a tandem, and that's why I say they were a finely woven tapestry. We cannot understand the one without the other. There's a common legacy there.
All right, Dr. Charles Dunn, as always, thank you for your insights.
Good to be with you.
All right, Wendy.
Thanks, Mark. The United States and China are trying to cool tensions on the Korean Peninsula. Military threats made by North Korea in recent weeks have rattled the international community. Senator Lindsey Graham warns that military action by North Korea would force South Korea to react proportionally.
If there were a South Korean naval vessel sunk this year, anytime soon, or shelling of a South Korean island by North Korea, I think the new president of South Korea would be compelled to act. I think the North Koreans are overplaying their hands.
China's new president, Xi Jinping, says no country in Asia should be allowed to throw the region and even the whole world into chaos for selfish gain.
President Obama continues his push for stricter gun control. Tonight, Mr. Obama is speaking in Connecticut. In attendance, 11 families who lost their children in the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting. The president has told lawmakers gun control laws need to be passed to protect America's children from similar tragedies. Many Democrats in Congress are calling for a gun control bill that includes universal background checks. But some Republicans say they would filibuster any such measure. Meanwhile, others say the issue deserves a full debate.
Everybody wants the same goal, and that is to keep the guns out of the hands of criminals and people who are mentally disabled.
Gun legislation is up for debate in the Senate this week.
Pastor Rick Warren and his family are asking for prayers following the suicide death of their son. Warren thanked people for the outpouring he's seen so far, tweeting to his nearly 1 million followers. He said, quote, "Kay and I are overwhelmed by your love, prayers, and kind words. You are all encouraging our broken hearts." Warren is the pastor of the California megachurch Saddleback and author of the best-selling book Purpose Driven Life. His 27-year-old son Matthew took his life after a long battle with mental illness and depression.
Secretary of State John Kerry is visiting the Mideast, trying to revive talks of an Arab plan for peace in the region. That plan calls for Israel to pull out from areas they gained in the Six-Day War in 1967. Kerry met with Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas on Sunday. Today, he met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Kerry is trying to end a 4.5-year Israeli-Palestinian stalemate. He has not publicly outlined a new plan. Meanwhile, today, Israelis paused to remember the Holocaust.
They highlighted the Jewish resistance on the 70th anniversary of the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell has that story.
Sirens wailed and Israel stood still in memory of the millions of Jews who were murdered in the Nazi Holocaust. For 2 minutes, traffic stopped and Israelis paused to reflect on the World War II horrors that came upon the Jewish people, on those who survived and those who didn't. Visiting Secretary of State John Kerry joined Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and laid a wreath commemorating the Holocaust. Holocaust Martyrs and Heroes Remembrance Day officially began with a state ceremony at Yad Vashem, Israel's Holocaust memorial. Survivors and their relatives lit 6 torches. Each one represented 1 million Jews who died. This year marked the 70th anniversary of the 1943 Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, the first large-scale rebellion against the Nazis in Europe. It became the symbol of the struggle against impossible odds. Israeli President Shimon Peres said the threat of the Holocaust against one nation is a threat against all nations. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu made reference to the threat from Iran.
The murderous hatred against the Jews that has accompanied the history of our people has not disappeared.
With less than 200,000 Holocaust survivors left in Israel, there's concern the memory and impact of the Holocaust could fade.
I think we are too apart. I think there's not enough remembering. Not enough time has passed for us to be so forgetful about what the Jewish people have been through.
Right now, it's a very important day for us. And unfortunately, we were talking about the fact that in about 50, 60 years, it's liable to be nothing but another blip on history.
I do think it's just important that we remember what happened. Our Bible tells us never to forget. We have to depend on ourselves and God.
Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Coming up, it's tax time. Expert Dan Pilla joins us with some tips.
again.
Broken Eardrum is playing at the Civic tonight.
And you'll just have to miss it.
This is so incredibly unfair.
A special story of love and sacrifice.
Joy, Mom comes up with something.
Christopher Quantum, you and I are going to discuss your attitude right this minute. Superbook.
No.
Join the Superbook DVD Club and get Superbook's newest episode, He is Risen. Plus 2 copies to share with others, all for your gift of $25.
They have arrested Jesus, the Messiah. Do you not know that I have the power to crucify you?
No! Please! You can't! They've taken him to Golgotha. We must hurry. Mary is about to lose her son. The worst thing any mother could face. I am not leaving her.
Superbook. It's an amazing way to build a strong spiritual foundation in the children you love.
Mary, who are you looking for?
I've seen him! He is alive!
Superbook. He is Risen. Available now.
Someone once said, life doesn't give do-overs. But that's not entirely true.
What a remarkable comeback for Kurt Warner.
I'm Kurt Warner, and I got a second chance that changed my life. I remember those feelings. I didn't want to fail. I want to give you an opportunity to chase after your dream.
Seriously?
When you know you were meant to do something, you can't let life stand in your way.
This is what I've been trying for so many years.
I've been given a second chance.
The Moment, a new reality series hosted by Kurt Warner, premieres Thursday at 10. Only on USA.
Jim is 38, mortgage, married, 3 great kids. He wants to protect his family with a $500,000 term life insurance policy. What do you think it'll cost him? $100 a month? 60? 40? Actually, none of the above. Jim can get a $500,000 policy from a highly rated insurer for under $19 a month. His secret? SelectQuote. SelectQuote is impartial. They'll comparison shop the pick of insurance companies like these to give you a choice of your best prices. SelectQuote has great savings on term life for women, too. Jim's wife, Deidre, can get a $500,000 policy for under $16 a month. SelectQuote has helped make term life insurance affordable for hundreds of thousands of people since 1985. How about you? Just call this number or go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Someone once said, life doesn't give do-overs. But that's not entirely true.
What a remarkable comeback for Kurt Warner.
I'm Kurt Warner, and I got a second chance that changed my life. I remember those feelings. I didn't want to fail. I want to give you an opportunity to chase after your dream.
Seriously?
When you know you were meant to do something, you can't let life stand in your way.
This is what I've been trying for so many years.
I've been given a second chance.
The Moment, a new reality series hosted by Kurt Warner, premieres Thursday at 10. Only on USA.
Welcome back. If you haven't filed your taxes yet, you've only got a week left until tax day, April 15th.
It's coming. Well, more than 25 million taxpayers could face IRS audits, assessments, or worse. But if you knew a few foolproof steps to get rid of those fears...
Yeah, tax expert Dan Pilla has some answers that can help anyone.
As Americans scramble to file before the tax deadline, millions will inevitably pay untold billions of dollars to the government. Surprisingly, money that many may not even owe. Tax expert Daniel Pilla says the federal government often looks to the Internal Revenue Service as a first line of attack in balancing the budget. With all the forms and deductions, it can be overwhelming for the average American to file without an accounting degree. Charitable contributions, small business claims, and unusual medical expenses are just some of the deduction options that can save you money, but can also attract unwanted attention from the federal government. That's why Pilla wrote The IRS Problem Solver. In it, the litigation consultant outlines 5 simple things to do before April 15th. Relevant steps that could save you time, money, and give you a whole lot of peace of mind.
Tax expert Dan Pilla joins us now. Now, Dan, you say there are some things that people can do to get ready for April 15th, and one is to get proper records for charitable contributions. Why is that so important?
Well, it's a big deal, Mark, because first of all, if you give a charitable contribution of $250 or more to any one charitable organization in a one-time gift, then you have to have a contemporaneous acknowledgement back from the organization in order to claim that deduction. It's not enough to just have your canceled check or your receipts. You need that acknowledgement back from the organization that has to establish what you gave, when you gave it, and whether you got anything back of value. And if you did get something back of value, you can't claim a contribution equal to what you got back. So if you don't have that documentation before you file your tax return, you can lose your deduction later on, even if you have the check.
Now, one of the things that can save you money on your tax return is to contribute to an IRA or individual retirement account before April 15th. How can that work for you? Break it down for us.
Yeah, very simply, if it's the only thing left you can do now to save money for 2012. 2012 is, a dead letter, of course, ended December 31st, naturally. Most of the times when we're talking about deductions or credits, that has to occur during the year in question. But the contribution to an existing or a new IRA can be done up until April 15th of 2013. If you designate the payment to apply to 2012, then you get the deduction in 2012, and that can reduce your taxes. And so as an individual, you can give up to $5,000. If you've reached 50 years of age or more, you can give $6,000, and that's for both husband and wife if the wife has earned income as well. So it's an opportunity to cut your taxes, Mark, at a time when you otherwise couldn't do it.
That's right. That's right. Well, people are concerned, of course, about being audited. And you say a notarized affidavit can help audit-proof your return. Explain that to us.
Yeah, I talk about this at length in my book, The IRS Problem Solver. I talk about the audit-proofing process. And it's a process of providing information with the tax return that will answer any potential questions raised in the return itself. For example, when we're talking about charitable contributions, if you're a Christian tithing at 10%, you're giving about 3.5 times the national average of charitable gifts. And so the IRS looks at that and says, well, gee, look at how high these contributions are compared to the averages. And so what you want to do is provide information with your tax return that answers potential questions raised in the return. And what the affidavit does is it gives you an opportunity to provide an explanation beyond simple receipts, because there are some cases, Mark, in which you're not going to get a receipt for an item. For example, if you're a small business, you've got a Schedule C on your tax return, you're claiming a deduction for the space used in your home, just an example, you don't get a receipt for that. The kids aren't going to give you a receipt saying Dad won't let us watch TV in his office, right? That doesn't happen. But the affidavit can explain the business purpose of that space and give you the opportunity to present that information to the IRS.
Okay. Well, one of Dan's many tax resources is the IRS Problem Solver, and you can find out more at our website at cbnnews.com. Dan Pilla, as always, thanks for being with us. Appreciate the information.
Thanks for having me, Mark. I appreciate it.
Thanks
Thank
again.
Up next, America's newest drinking problem has nothing to do with alcohol. Why energy drinks can be deadly.
Someone once said, life doesn't give do-overs. But that's not entirely true.
What a remarkable comeback for Kurt Warner.
I'm Kurt Warner, and I got a second chance that changed my life. I remember those feelings. I didn't want to fail. I want to give you an opportunity to chase after your dream.
Seriously?
When you know you were meant to do something, you can't let life stand in your way.
This is what I've been trying for so many years.
I've been given a second chance.
The Moment, a new reality series hosted by Kurt Warner, premieres Thursday at 10. Only on USA.
Jim is 38, mortgage, married, 3 great kids. He wants to protect his family with a $500,000 term life insurance policy. What do you think it'll cost him? $100 a month? 60? 40? Actually, none of the above. Jim can get a $500,000 policy from a highly rated insurer for under $19 a month. His secret? SelectQuote. SelectQuote is impartial. They'll comparison shop the pick of insurance companies like these to give you a choice of your best prices. SelectQuote has great savings on term life for women, too. Jim's wife, Deidre, can get a $500,000 policy for under $16 a month. SelectQuote has helped make term life insurance affordable for hundreds of thousands of people since 1985. How about you? Just call this number or go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Someone once said, life doesn't give do-overs. But that's not entirely true.
What a remarkable comeback for Kurt Warner.
I'm Kurt Warner, and I got a second chance that changed my life. I remember those feelings. I didn't want to fail. I want to give you an opportunity to chase after your dream.
Seriously?
When you know you were meant to do something, you can't let life stand in your way.
This is what I've been trying for so many years.
I've been given a second chance.
The Moment, a new reality series hosted by Kurt Warner, premieres Thursday at 10. Only on USA.
A new study shows an ingredient in energy drinks and red meat may increase the risk of heart disease. The ingredient is called carnitine. Researchers at the Cleveland Clinic warn it could be clogging the arteries of those who consume it.
Carnitine is, I think, a cause for concern because our data really suggests that this is a risk factor for accelerated heart disease.
Carnitine is a popular ingredient in some energy drinks because it may help convert fat into energy. Over the past 20 years, America has developed a drinking problem, not with alcohol, but with these kind of energy or sports drinks.
Oh, yeah. And as Lori Johnson warns, they contain a cocktail of ingredients that can be deadly.
With names like Rockstar, Monster, and Full Throttle, energy drinks pack a punch that young people can't get enough of. In fact, 1 in 3 teenagers regularly drinks them. They burst on the scene 20 years ago and are so popular, Americans are expected to spend $9 billion on them this year, making them the fastest-growing beverage market. So what's in these energy drinks that has them flying off the shelves? Mainly caffeine, at least the amount found in a strong cup of coffee, sometimes much more. The FDA only requires manufacturers to list the presence of caffeine in a product, not how much. Energy drinks can also be loaded with sugar, a quarter cup on average, and since they're marketed as dietary supplements, often contain unregulated herbal stimulants like taurine, guarana, creatine, and B vitamins. Doctors say this can be a dangerous mix. In fact, the medical journal Pediatrics warns energy drinks can cause kids to suffer heart palpitations, seizures, strokes, and even sudden death.
I think it's really important for parents to know what their kids drink.
Pediatrician Peter Restaino says energy drinks are especially dangerous for kids with heart or psychiatric problems. They should not be combined with alcohol or any other drugs, including caffeine from other sources like soda. Restaino goes as far as telling his patients not to even drink one because they can be highly addictive.
So you're buying 3 and 4 or 5 of these things, which are reasonably expensive, and you're doing them on a pretty regular basis because you don't want that high to disappear. Because in fact, the side effects of coming down are the headache, the nausea, the just you don't feel good, the fatigue.
Energy drinks are often marketed to athletes for that extra boost, but they can pose even more problems for athletes than non-athletes, like increased blood pressure and serious dehydration. Because of that, some athletes shy away from the energy drinks and choose sports drinks instead. But doctors say not so fast. Although they don't contain the caffeine energy drinks do, sports drinks have their own set of problems. Sports drinks can corrode teeth even more than soda. Candace Hawkins learned that the hard way. After enjoying a lifetime of perfect checkups, when she made her high school swim team, she started drinking sports drinks and got 8 cavities. Acid in sports drinks erodes the teeth from the first sip until 45 minutes after the last sip, when the saliva returns the mouth to its pH balance. But are sports drinks even necessary? Dr. Brick Campbell specializes in sports medicine.
Just water is probably all you really need.
He adds that sports drinks are also crowding out the one drink that's missing from the diets of athletes and non-athletes alike, good old-fashioned milk, which is needed to prevent broken bones in the future.
The time for skeletal storage of calcium comes in your teens, and most women and even guys aren't drinking nearly enough milk, and partly is because they want to drink sodas and now the sports drinks and maybe the energy drinks. But milk is extremely important in order to socking that calcium away for later life, and most people aren't getting that.
Another drawback to many sports drinks is the calorie content. Dr. Richard Hoffman is a weight loss specialist and says sports drinks and energy drinks are often so high in sugars that people sometimes drink more calories than they burn off during exercise. He cautions his patients not to be fooled by drinks that put healthy words on the label, like fruit, water, and green tea.
Beverages should probably not have any carbohydrate in them if you're going to be drinking them frequently.
Hoffman advises his patients to drink at least 64 ounces of plain water each day so they'll feel full, eat less, and get rid of excess salt. Coffee drinkers need to be savvy too. For instance, this bottled coffee contains the sugar equivalent of 32 Nilla wafers, a far cry from just a plain old cup of joe, which contains no sugar. So while Americans have more beverage choices than ever, doctors say don't be fooled. Just because a drink has a healthy image, that doesn't mean it's good for you. Lori Johnson, CBN News.
Ow, my feet hurt. My feet hurt, your feet hurt. White hat pain, I wanna cry. Is there anything I can try?
Why, yes! Introducing Strut Soul Angels, the human shock absorber that helps alleviate foot pain.
The first 10 steps in the morning to the bathroom were excruciating. Within 3 days after I put Struts on, it's been such a relief.
Slipped it on and almost immediately I felt a support, kind of like a pillow underneath my arches.
The Struts Soul Angel provides a great amount of relief and support throughout the course of the day, providing shock absorption and relief of pain.
On your feet without proper support can be painful. Strut Soul Angels promotes better balance, control, and body alignment. Standing in your heels all day is painful, but slip on Struts and you'll enjoy comfort and support 24/7. Struts is so versatile, you'll wear them in every shoe you own, even barefoot.
I'm on my feet all the time. I teach 11 and 12-year-olds. The pain was so much that I knew I had to do something. And with the Struts, I can do my job and enjoy my job.
I usually am on my feet from 8 to 12 hours a day. When I wear my Struts, it's like giving my feet a hug all day.
It's life-changing. I wear them from the minute I get up to the minute I go to bed.
Why pay $400 for custom orthotics?
Now get Strut Soul Angels for just $10. You also get Miracle Foot Repair Cream, absolutely free. Use it to help relieve dry, callous feet overnight. But wait, call right now and we'll double the offer free. Just pay separate processing and handling. Plus, you get a 100% money-back guarantee. If not completely delighted, send it back. But keep the foot cream as our gift just for trying. You get it all. A $70 value for just $10.
Oh, yes! Love my Struts, love my Struts. The best thing since sliced bread. They heal pain from toes to head. Get yours now, your doctor said.
Struts. Be nice to your feet. Call now.
Call 1-800-787-1580 and get your Struts and Miracle Foot Repair for just $10 and we'll double the offer. That's 1-800-787-1580 or visit getstruts.com.
Well, an elderly Delaware woman still clings to kindness after being abducted.
Yeah, the 89-year-old was held captive for 2 days in the trunk of her car by 2 teenage girls.
You got to be kind to other people if you want somebody to be kind to you.
Margaret Smith stepped out for ice cream when 2 young girls asked her for a ride. She decided against it at first, but then said yes, and that's when they forced her into the trunk.
Opened it and shoved me in and slammed the door. Then it took off, flying, me in the car. I was scared, but I was determined.
It's horrible. The girls eventually stopped and freed her. Margaret was able to crawl her way to safety and the girls were arrested. She still says it's kindness that's gotten her this far. It's amazing.
God. I wonder how kind she was to those 2 girls.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not sure I could have been kind in that situation.
What was going on? They had, that's ridiculous.
Well, thank goodness it was a happy ending.
Yeah.
That's going to do it for us.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good night.
Good night.